The time traveler warned. Loving you breaks the law, yet she waited at my door. Whispers across dimensions. The observatory dome curved above Lyra Novak like a second sky, its metal skeleton gleaming in the soft glow of computer screens. Outside, stars speckled the Montana night, but Lyra's attention remained fixed on the anomalous readings flickering across her monitor. That's impossible, she whispered, brushing a strand of auburn hair from her face. For 3 consecutive nights, her instruments had detected strange energy signatures from a seemingly empty sector of space. According to all known astronomical data, nothing existed there, yet something was reaching out across the void. She rubbed her tired eyes and reached for her coffee mug, finding it empty. 4 in the morning again. Her colleagues had long since departed, leaving her alone with the humming equipment and the persistent anomaly that matched the patterns in her dreams. The dreams had started 6 months ago, visions of violet skies and whispered equations that made perfect sense until she woke. Sometimes she dreamed of hands reaching for her across an impossible distance, accompanied by a voice that spoke of stars as if they were neighbors. You're losing your scientific objectivity. Novak, she chided herself, stretching her arms overhead. Her research fellowship at the Meridian Observatory was prestigious. Too prestigious to risk on what her department head would surely dismiss as sleep-deprived fantasy. As Lyra gathered her notes, the observatory lights flickered. The computer screens blinked in unison, then displayed the same message across all monitors. Convergence imminent. Preparation essential. Her heart pounded as the message disappeared, replaced by complex mathematical equations that matched those from her dreams. Lyra frantically photographed the screens with her phone before everything returned to normal. Not sleep deprivation then, not imagination. Who's there? She called, spinning around, suddenly aware she might not be alone. The observatory remained silent, but the air felt charged, as if the space itself had become alert to her presence. Miles away, in the small cabin she rented near the observatory, something waited. Lyra felt it with inexplicable certainty as she drove home through the pre-dawn darkness, her mind racing through possibilities that challenged everything she understood about physics and astronomy. When she arrived, the cabin appeared undisturbed, yet as she unlocked the door, her skin prickled with awareness. She stepped inside, flipped on the light, and gasped. A man stood by her kitchen table, tall and lean with unusual silver-blue eyes. But it wasn't his unexpected presence that made her freeze. It was the faint purple luminescence that seemed to outline his form, pulsing gently like a distant nebula. Dr. Lyra Novak, he said, his voice resonating with an accent she couldn't place. I apologize for this intrusion. My name is Zarin. I've come a great distance to find you. How did you get in here? Lyra demanded, her hand reaching for her phone. The same way I've been reaching your dreams, he replied calmly. Through the resonance patterns you've been studying. We don't have much time. He gestured toward her kitchen table where star charts and equations, written in her own handwriting but which she had no memory of creating, lay, spread out in precise formation. Time for what? She whispered, curiosity temporarily overriding her fear. To prepare Earth for what's coming, Zarin said, his eyes reflecting starlight that couldn't possibly be in her small cabin. I've broken every protocol by coming directly to you, but the calculations were clear. You're the only one who will understand. The boundary between worlds. Lyra stared at the equations Zarin had written, complex formulations that bridged quantum mechanics and astronomical phenomena in ways human science hadn't yet discovered. You're not from Earth, she said finally, a statement rather than a question. Zarin's lips curved into a slight smile. My home is a planet orbiting Kepler 186f, what you would consider an exoplanet in the habitable zone. I am a guardian, part of an ancient order that monitors cosmic equilibrium across star systems. Lyra sank into a chair, her scientist's mind racing to process this revelation. And this coming event you mentioned? A dimensional convergence, rare but potentially catastrophic. Zarin moved toward her window, gazing at the stars with a familiarity that made Lyra shiver. In 63 days, the barriers between our worlds will temporarily weaken. Without proper preparation, the resulting energy discharge could devastate both our civilizations. Dawn broke outside, casting golden light across Zarin's features. For a moment, his skin shimmered with a subtle purple undertone, confirming Lyra's suspicions about his extraterrestrial origin. "I should report this," Lyra said, reaching for her phone. Zaren's hand gently covered hers. His touch was warm, surprisingly human. "The Guardians operate in secrecy for a reason, Dr. Novak. Mass panic would only worsen the situation." That touch lingered between them, an unspoken connection forming beyond the scientific crisis at hand. Lyra withdrew her hand, but the warmth remained. "Why me?" she asked. "There are more accomplished scientists, people with actual influence. Your research on quantum entanglement across stellar distances." Zaren's eyes held hers. "And something else. A resonance pattern in your neural activity that mirrors our communication systems. Put simply, your mind can perceive frequencies others cannot." Over the next 3 days, they worked together in the cabin, converting Lyra's living room into a makeshift research center. Zaren shared knowledge that would revolutionize human understanding of the cosmos, while Lyra applied her expertise to develop a stabilization method for the coming convergence. On the 4th night, exhausted from their work, they sat on her porch beneath the stars. Zaren pointed to a faint red dot in the night sky. "Home," he said simply, a note of longing in his voice. "Do you miss it?" Lyra asked. "Guardians are trained to function anywhere without attachments." His voice softened. "But yes, sometimes. Though I find myself surprisingly comfortable here." Their eyes met, and something shifted between them. A recognition that their collaboration had grown into something neither had anticipated. "The first rule of Guardian protocol is emotional neutrality," Zaren confessed. "We observe, we protect, but we never engage beyond necessity." "And now?" Lyra asked, her heart quickening as he moved closer. "Now I find myself breaking protocols I've followed for centuries." His fingertips traced the curve of her cheek, feather-light. "Something about you calls to me across star systems. Lyra Novak, I should maintain distance, but..." The kiss that followed was gentle, tentative, a bridge between worlds that neither had expected to cross. As they pulled apart, the stars above seemed to pulse in rhythm with their heartbeats. "This complicates everything," Lyra whispered against his lips. "It was already complicated," Zaren replied, the purple luminescence beneath his skin glowing brighter with emotion. "Now it's also worth it." Stellar convergence 3 weeks into their work, the boundary between colleague and companion blurred beyond recognition. Each day brought them closer to a solution for the dimensional convergence. Each night drew them deeper into forbidden territory. Lyra found Zaren studying her paintings one evening, abstract swirls of cosmic imagery she'd created based on her dreams. "These patterns," he said, fingers hovering over a spiral of violet and silver, "they're remarkably similar to the ceremonial art of my people." "I've been dreaming of them for months," Lyra admitted, standing beside him, "before we even met." Zaren turned to her, his expression troubled. "That shouldn't be possible unless..." He hesitated. "Unless what?" she pressed. "Unless our connection predates our meeting." He took her hands in his. "Lyra, there's something I need to show you." That night, under the observatory dome, Zaren revealed his true nature. As the instruments were powered down and darkness enveloped them, his human appearance subtly shifted. His skin emanated a soft purple glow, luminescent patterns flowing beneath the surface like star currents. "This is how my people naturally appear," he said, voice uncertain. "The human form is an adaptation for Earth's conditions." Lyra approached slowly, mesmerized. She reached out, tracing the glowing patterns on his forearm. "You're beautiful," she whispered. Relief washed over his features. He drew her closer, their bodies illuminated by his gentle radiance. "The Council would consider this the gravest violation of Guardian principles," he murmured against her hair. "To reveal ourselves, to form attachments, it's forbidden for good reason. Guardians who become emotionally involved lose objectivity. Mistakes are made. Civilizations have fallen." "Are we making a mistake?" Lyra asked, looking up at him. His answer came not in words, but in the tender kiss that followed, deepening with an intensity that left them both breathless. The observatory dome above revealed countless stars as they lowered to the cushioned observation bench, hands exploring with growing urgency. Later, tangled together beneath his discarded coat, Zarin traced patterns on her bare shoulder. "The convergence is 1 week away," he said softly. "Once it's stabilized, I'll be recalled." Lyra propped herself up to look at him. "You're leaving?" "My mission will be complete." His expression darkened. "And the Council will know of my indiscretion. They monitor Guardian biometric patterns. They already suspect." "What will they do to you?" Fear edged her voice. "Guardians who compromise their neutrality are typically reassigned to isolation posts, monitoring empty sectors of space for centuries." His fingers intertwined with hers. "The punishment is considered merciful compared to the potential consequences of emotional entanglement. So either way, I lose you." Lyra felt tears threatening. Zarin's eyes reflected starlight and sorrow. Unless what? Hope flared in her chest. The convergence creates a unique opportunity. Dimensional barriers will be at their weakest. His voice dropped to a whisper. Theoretically, someone could cross between worlds. Understanding dawned in Lyra's eyes. "You mean I could go with you, leave Earth behind? Or I could stay?" The words hung between them, heavy with implication. Either choice violates every law of both our worlds. Either choice would change our lives irreversibly. The silence that followed was filled only with the sound of their breathing and the distant hum of the observatory equipment, as the magnitude of the decision settled around them like cosmic dust. Eclipse of Duty, the dimensional stabilization device, a mesmerizing fusion of Guardian technology and Lyra's innovative adaptations, hummed on her living room table. With 2 days until convergence, their preparations were nearly complete. Lyra watched Zarin make final adjustments, his fingers moving with precision across controls only he fully understood. "It will work," she assured him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Before he could respond, the air in the room shimmered and split open. 3 luminescent figures materialized, their bodies pulsing with the same purple glow as Zarin's true form, but brighter, more controlled. "Guardian Zarin." The central figure spoke, its voice resonating like crystal. "You have violated primary protocol." Zarin stepped protectively in front of Lyra. "Counselor Vex, I can explain. Your biometric patterns told us everything." Another figure interrupted, eyes scanning the room with disapproval. "Emotional entanglement with a level 3 species. Unauthorized technology transfer. Revelation of Guardian existence." "The convergence threatens both our worlds," Zarin argued. "I made a calculated decision to work directly with Dr. Novak, whose research—" "Your decision was compromised by emotion," Vex stated coldly. "You will return immediately for reassignment. The Council will handle the convergence." Lyra stepped forward. "With respect, Counselor, you don't understand Earth's unique quantum signature. Our solution is specifically calibrated for silence," the third figure commanded. "This human has no standing in Guardian matters." The room temperature dropped as the Counselor's attention focused fully on Zarin. "You have served honorably for 3 centuries, Vex said, voice softening slightly. "This aberration will be treated with consideration if you return willingly." That night, after the Council departed with their ultimatum, Lyra and Zarin lay awake in her bed, the moonlight casting silver shadows across their intertwined forms. "Isolation duty," Zarin whispered against her skin. "Monitoring an empty sector of space for the next 500 years. That's their idea of mercy." Lyra's fingers traced the glowing patterns on his chest, memorizing each curve and line. "And if you refuse? Guardians who abandon their duty are stripped of their abilities," he said, voice hollow. "Left to live as ordinary beings wherever they choose, but cut off from their home forever." "Would that be so terrible?" Lyra asked softly. "Living as an ordinary being? With me?" Zarin pulled her closer, his luminescence brightening with emotion. "Nothing about you is ordinary, Lyra Novak," he murmured, lips finding hers in the darkness. Their bodies moved together with desperate intensity, each touch an argument against separation, each kiss a plea against time's passing. Dawn found them still awake, watching the sky lighten through her bedroom window. The convergence was now 36 hours away. "I've made my decision," Zarin said, his voice stronger than it had been all night. Lyra turned to face him, heart pounding. "And? The Council is right about one thing. I've compromised my guardian objectivity." His fingers traced her jawline. "But they're wrong about everything else. The stabilization device needs both of us to operate correctly. And what's between us?" His voice faltered. "It isn't a violation. It's the reason I've been a guardian all these centuries. To protect connections like this." "What are you saying?" Lyra whispered. Zarin sat up, the purple glow beneath his skin pulsing with determination. "I'm saying we have 36 hours to reconfigure our stabilization device for a very different purpose." Understanding dawned in Lyra's eyes. "You're not thinking of—" "Not just thinking," Zarin replied, a smile forming on his lips. "I'm planning. The Council expects compliance. They won't anticipate rebellion, especially not from me." "They'll come after us," Lyra warned. Zarin nodded, serious again. "Which is why we need to disappear somewhere even Guardians can't follow." Cosmic resonance. The convergence began at precisely 3:17 a.m., just as Zarin had calculated. Standing on the observatory's roof beneath a sky torn with luminous fissures, Lyra gripped the modified stabilization device in trembling hands. The dimensional barriers thinned, revealing glimpses of impossible landscapes, violet skies and crystalline structures that matched her dreams. "The Council will arrive in minutes," Zarin warned, his form fluctuating between human appearance and his natural state, as reality rippled around them. "Once they realize what we're attempting, then let's not give them time to realize," Lyra finished, activating the device. Energy surged through the observatory, connecting with the convergence points overhead. The air shimmered with mathematical patterns. Equations made visible, physics transformed into light. "Now!" Zarin called above the rising hum. Together, they adjusted the final settings. The device wasn't just stabilizing the convergence anymore. It was bending it, creating a pocket dimension within the intersection of their worlds. The air split open behind them. Council figures materialized, their expressions shifting from authority to alarm as they assessed the scene. "Guardian Zarin, cease this immediately," Vex commanded, raising a hand crackling with energy. Zarin met the counselor's gaze steadily. "I am no longer a guardian," he replied. "I have chosen my path." Lyra's hand found his, fingers interlacing as the device reached full power. Around them, reality began to fold, creating a bubble separate from both Earth and Zarin's homeworld. "You cannot escape the laws of cosmic governance," another counselor warned, moving forward. "This pocket dimension will collapse within days." "Not with the modifications I've made," Lyra countered, her scientific confidence unwavering. "The quantum stabilization matrix draws power from both dimensional planes. It's self-sustaining." Vex's eyes widened with understanding. "You've created a bridge world." "A home," Zarin corrected, pulling Lyra closer as the bubble dimension solidified around them. "Neither Earth nor Kepler, but something new. Something ours." The council members' forms began to fade as the dimensional separation strengthened. Their voices grew distant, warnings dissolving into the ether as the new reality formed. "They cannot follow," Zarin explained, watching the last traces of the council disappear. "The entrance will seal behind us, accessible only with the unique resonance pattern created by our combined presence." The chaos of the convergence settled into stillness. Around them, their pocket dimension took shape, a small but perfect synthesis of both worlds. Earth's lush greenery mingled with the crystalline structures of Zarin's home. The sky above held stars from both galaxies, while the air shimmered with gentle luminescence. "It worked," Lyra breathed, turning slowly to take in their creation. Zarin's arms encircled her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "It's small, perhaps 5 square kilometers, but it's ours for as long as we want it. What about my research? Your duty as a guardian?" she asked, leaning back against him. "The dimensional properties will allow us to observe both worlds, even interact with them in limited ways," he explained. "We haven't abandoned our responsibilities. We've found a new perspective from which to fulfill them." Lyra turned in his arms to face him. "In this new world, Zarin no longer needed to maintain his human appearance. His natural form glowed with purple luminescence, patterns swirling beneath his skin like cosmic currents. "So what happens now?" she asked, hands resting against his chest. Zarin smiled, the expression somehow both alien and entirely familiar. "Now we build a life between worlds together." The first kiss in their new home tasted of possibility and defiance. As night fell in their pocket dimension, the stars of two galaxies witnessed their embrace, a union that broke cosmic law yet somehow fulfilled the universe's most fundamental impulse: connection across impossible distances. In the years that followed, their bridge world became a sanctuary not just for themselves but for knowledge that crossed dimensional boundaries. Lyra's research continued, enriched by perspectives no Earth scientist could access. Zarin, freed from Guardian constraints, discovered talents and emotions he'd never allowed himself to explore, and sometimes on quiet nights beneath their double stars they would remember that moment of choice, when love had bent the laws of physics, creating a space that belonged to neither world, yet united them both.